Have you ever noticed how the kindest people often carry the heaviest burdens? That strange weight in your chest when you've given everything, yet somehow feel unseen. There's this moment, maybe you know it, when you're lying awake at night, wondering why doing the right thing feels so wrong. Why being good leaves you so depleted. Your heart knows something that your mind hasn't caught up to yet. That maybe, just maybe, you've been taught a version of goodness that was never designed to serve you. What if the exhaustion you feel isn't because you're not good enough, but because you've been playing by rules that were meant to keep your power hidden? What if there's another way to be good, one that doesn't require you to disappear? Niccolo Machiavelli. History painted him as the teacher of tyrants. But what if I told you he was actually trying to wake up people just like you? Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Machiavelli saw something profound, that the truly good people of his time were being crushed, not because they lacked virtue, but because they'd never been taught how to protect it. He watched noble hearts get exploited by those who understood power, while the good remained naive to the games being played around them. This video is for you who feels drained despite doing everything right. For you who watches less deserving people advance while you hold back. For you whose empathy has become a burden you can't put down. For you who's starting to question if there's a different way to be good in this world. You've been taught that goodness means endless giving, but no one ever taught you how to give without losing yourself. That's about to change. Here's what's really happening, and it's not your fault. You were raised in a system that taught you a specific version of goodness, one that says conflict is bad, that your needs come last. That power corrupts. But these aren't universal truths. They're control mechanisms. Think about your earliest memories of being good. Maybe you were praised for sharing your favorite toy, even when it broke your heart. Celebrated for never complaining, even when things were unfair. Taught that good people don't make waves, don't take up space, don't have sharp edges. You learned that love was earned through self-erasure. But notice something. The people who taught you these rules, they rarely follow them themselves. They benefit when you stay small, when you don't question, when you give without boundaries. The boss who preaches teamwork while taking solo credit. The family member who demands your sacrifice while guarding their own resources. The friend who expects endless emotional labor but disappears when you need support. You've been operating in a world with hidden rules that no one explained to you. While you play checkers with your goodness, others are playing chess with their power. Not because they're evil, but because they understand something you were never taught. They know that resources, time, energy, opportunity are finite. They know that saying yes to everything means saying no to your own growth. And here's where it gets really interesting. The very qualities that make you good, your empathy, your consideration, your desire for harmony, these are the exact tools others use to keep you in place. Your empathy becomes a handle they pull. Your consideration becomes an expectation they exploit. Your desire for harmony becomes a cage that keeps you from advocating for yourself. The exhaustion you feel? That's not weakness. That's your soul recognizing a mismatch between who you are and how you're forced to operate. It's like wearing shoes that are 2 sizes too small. Of course it hurts. Of course you're tired. You're trying to run a marathon in equipment designed to slow you down. The resentment that sometimes bubbles up? That's not you being bad. That's your inner wisdom trying to protect you. That flash of anger when you're asked to give more from empty reserves, that's health, not selfishness. That moment of bitterness when your kindness goes unrecognized again. That's clarity breaking through conditioning. You haven't failed at being good. You've succeeded at following rules that were designed to keep genuinely good people from accessing their full strength. The game was rigged from the start, but not in the way you think. It wasn't rigged against goodness. It was rigged against powerful goodness, against good people who know their worth, against kindness that comes with clear boundaries. Machiavelli's genius wasn't in teaching evil. It was in revealing that goodness without wisdom is incomplete. He introduced the concept of virtù, not virtue as submission, but virtue as skillful action. He saw what you're beginning to see, that there's a difference between being good and being skillfully good. Think of it this way. A doctor must sometimes cause pain to heal. Are they less good for wielding a scalpel? A parent must sometimes say no to protect their child. Does that make them cruel? A therapist must sometimes let their client struggle instead of rescuing them. Does that diminish their compassion? Your goodness needs tools too. Machiavelli spoke of the lion and the fox, not as opposites, but as complementary aspects of wisdom. The lion's strength protects what matters. The fox's cleverness navigates complexity. You've been taught to be neither, to be a lamb instead. But lambs, however pure, cannot protect themselves or others. And here's what no one tells you. Even lambs have teeth. They just never learn to use them. Let me share something that might change everything. Machiavelli wrote, "The prince, not for princes, but for the people." He was exposing the game so that good people like you could finally see it. He wasn't teaching manipulation. He was teaching recognition. Because you can't navigate what you can't see, and you can't protect what you don't understand. Here's the shift. Instead of abandoning your goodness, you're going to arm it. Instead of becoming manipulative, you're going to become aware. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about accessing parts of yourself that were always there, waiting. The part that knows when something feels off. The part that sees through false niceness. The part that recognizes when you're being played. You've been taught to silence these instincts. Now you're going to honor them. Start by noticing without judgment. When someone makes a request, pause. Feel into your body. Is this a yes that energizes you or a yes that depletes you? That pause, that's you beginning to honor your own wisdom. That moment of checking in with yourself before automatically agreeing, that's revolutionary. It's the first step in transforming from reactive goodness to conscious kindness. Next, recognize the dynamics at play. When you see someone taking credit, maneuvering for advantage, or pushing boundaries, don't judge it as evil. See it as information. They're showing you how the game works. They're teaching you through demonstration. You can choose whether to play or not, but first you must see. Start noticing patterns. Who only calls when they need something? Who remembers you exist only when it's convenient? Who takes your help for granted? This isn't cynicism, it's clarity. But seeing the game is only the beginning. What comes next will transform how you move through the world. If this message is speaking to you, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. The real transformation happens when you realize your goodness is not the problem. Your goodness uninformed by wisdom, that's what's been hurting you. When you add strategic thinking to genuine kindness, you become unstoppable. Not unstoppable in domination, but unstoppable in maintaining your integrity while thriving in a complex world. You start setting boundaries not from anger, but from clarity. "I can't do that right now," becomes a complete sentence. "That doesn't work for me," needs no justification. You say no not from selfishness, but from understanding that your energy is precious and must be directed wisely. Every yes to them was a no to yourself. Now you're learning to balance the equation. You see through manipulation not to become cynical, but to protect your generous heart for those who truly deserve it. When someone tries to guilt you into overextending, you recognize the tactic without taking the bait. When someone plays victim to activate your rescuer mode, you see the pattern and choose your response consciously. You're not becoming cold, you're becoming clear. The integration process is delicate. Some days you'll overcompensate, swinging too far into self-protection. That's normal. Other days, you'll fall back into old patterns, giving from emptiness. That's okay too. You're learning a new language, the language of empowered goodness. Like any language, it takes practice. This isn't about becoming hard. It's about becoming whole. It's about keeping your soft heart while developing sharp boundaries. It's about maintaining your empathy while adding discernment. You're not killing your kindness, you're making it sustainable. Here's the profound reframe. Your sensitivity to others' needs isn't a burden. It's a superpower that's been running without boundaries. Your desire to help isn't naive. It's a force that simply needs direction. Everything you've been taught was your weakness. Those are your strengths waiting to be properly channeled. Think about water. Scattered, it evaporates. But focused through a dam, it can power cities. Your goodness is the same. Without structure, it dissipates into exhaustion. With conscious direction, it becomes a force for profound change, starting with your own life. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You walk into that family gathering, that office, that social situation, but something's different. You still feel deeply, but you're no longer drowning in others' emotions. You can witness someone's struggle without immediately sacrificing yourself to fix it. You still help, but from overflow rather than depletion. Your presence has changed. People sense something different about you. Not coldness, but clarity. Not hardness, but healthy boundaries. Here's what's shifted. You've learned to read the room like Machiavelli taught, not to manipulate, but to navigate. You see the games people play, and you choose consciously whether to engage. That colleague who always has emergencies right before deadlines, you see the pattern now. That friend who only remembers you during their crises, you recognize the dynamic. You're not angry at them. You simply adjust your responses accordingly. Your kindness, when given, transforms situations because it comes from strength, not obligation. People actually respect your help more because it's not guaranteed. They value your time because you've shown them it's valuable. The relationships that were built on your depletion? Some of them fell away, but the ones that remained and the new ones you've built, these are reciprocal, nourishing, real. You sleep differently now, not the exhausted collapse of someone who gave everything away, but the peaceful rest of someone who knows they've used their energy wisely. You wake without that familiar dread, that sense of all the people you'll have to please today. Instead, you wake curious about where you'll choose to direct your power. The anxious giver you are today, that person is already evolving, not into someone harder, but someone wiser. Not into someone who cares less, but someone who cares more skillfully. Your goodness isn't dying. It's finally growing teeth to protect itself. And those teeth, they're not for attacking. They're for smiling with genuine boundaries. You're discovering that true goodness requires courage. The courage to disappoint people who benefit from your lack of boundaries. And yes, some people will be disappointed. The ones who mistook your giving for weakness. The ones who built their comfort on your discomfort. Let them be disappointed. Their disappointment is not your emergency. The courage to be misunderstood by those who preferred you small. They'll call you selfish when you start choosing yourself. They'll say you've changed when you stop enabling their patterns. They'll mourn the loss of the old you, the one who never said no, who always rescued, who reliably sacrificed. Let them mourn. You're too busy being reborn. The courage to wield your power in service of what actually matters. Because here's what Machiavelli knew. Power isn't evil. Power without wisdom is dangerous. Power without goodness is destructive. But power guided by genuine care, boundaries informed by wisdom, strength married to kindness. This is what the world desperately needs. If you're ready to transform your goodness from a burden into a strength, comment below. My kindness is evolving. Share what boundary you're ready to explore, not from hardness, but from wisdom. Maybe it's saying no to that weekly favor that drains you. Maybe it's stopping the automatic yes when someone assumes your availability. Maybe it's simply pausing before you respond. Because this community understands that protecting your light isn't selfish. It's how you keep it burning for those who truly need it. The world doesn't need more martyrs. It needs good people who know how to stay good without destroying themselves. It needs the version of you that's emerging right now. Someone who understands that kindness and strength aren't opposites, but partners. Someone who's learned that boundaries aren't walls, but bridges to healthier connections. Your story is changing, not from good person to bad, but from unconscious goodness to conscious choice, from automatic sacrifice to intentional service, from depletion to sustainable generosity. This is your evolution, and it starts the moment you decide that your goodness deserves to be protected as fiercely as you've protected everyone else. Now you're becoming one of them. Now you know. The question is, what will you do with this dangerous truth?